right, let's hit the field.
All right.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Today is Wednesday, August 21st, and the Yankees were trying to bounce back against the Guardians in Game 2 of a 3-game set. Nestor Cortes was on the mound, trying to continue his momentum. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Welcome to
Pinstripe Territory.
Come on, everybody.
Just when they thought I was out.
They pull me back, kid.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, and welcome back to first place for the New York Yankees. Pretty solid and stress-free win for the Yankees tonight. And to top things off, the Orioles lost to the Mets. So for the moment, the Yankees back in sole possession to first place. Joining me tonight to talk about it is Jonna Perlinger of Babe's Babe podcast. She covers the Yankees for On New Jersey. How you doing, Jonna?
I am great. Hey, we're in first place, so I couldn't be better.
Yeah, I'm psyched. Last night was tough. We were talking about it in the quote-unquote green room before the show, just how unfulfilling last night's game was because it was so long. It was 4 hours long. It was the longest game in Major League Baseball this year. And then it was this tight game. Yankees get blown out late. And I don't know about you, but I had difficulty shaking that one off.
Yeah, I mean, and like coming off of such a defeating loss with the Little League game, it was just like it was just a double whammy.
Yeah. But we had a nice night tonight. Amazing performance by Nestor Cortes. We'll talk more about that. Home run and a 3-run double from Juan Soto, who continues to raise his free agent price higher every single night. What do you think? Do you have any early thoughts on the final number for Juan Soto?
Oh my God. This is such a tough question. Like I've heard some controversial takes on like the Yankees could never give him more than what they gave Judge, but I feel like the number's there, So it's like People are gonna have to like put their egos aside and it just is gonna be what it is. But
I was talking to Ken Rosenthal about that when he was on this winter. I was like, if you got Soto, would they give him more than Judge? And his answer was basically yes, because Soto is younger. He's at a different point in his free agency. So you're still getting like 3 or 4 years of his best prime years, whereas Judge, they kind of figured that he was nearing the end of his prime already. Luckily, he's had a couple of more years of it, but just those extra, 27, 28, 29-year-old seasons are huge value to the Yankees. Judge went deep again tonight twice. He's got 47 on pace for 60. Austin Wells continues to swing the bat. He had some good swings tonight. We had a double from Volpe, a couple of hits from Gleyber Torres, and 5 ribbies, including a home run from Juan Soto. So pretty good night for the Yankees. Let's talk about Nestor Cortes, because this is the second start in a row that he's pitched well. He's coming out of this funk, looks like. Fingers crossed. Right? Knock on wood. But this was a good team that he completely dominated tonight. Any thoughts on Nestor Cortes?
Yeah, so I actually went back and looked to see how many games he's pitched over, or where he's pitched 7 or more innings. He's had 8 games this year, 2 of those being his last 2 starts, which were almost identical except for the strikeouts. So I do feel like in August he's like, last couple games, he's really dialed in.
Yeah, he's looking great. 7 shutout innings, 3 hits allowed, dropped his ERA to 4.00 on the season. 26 games, 148 innings, 137 strikeouts, just 29 walks. So the command has been elite this year. He's got the whip down to 1.16, and he picks up win number 7. So he's now 7-10 on the season. Not the best record, but, he's a crafty guy, and he posts, which is super important. I mean, how many times last year did we have guys missing starts, including Nestor? I think it's huge that he's just at least making the starts every day. And tonight, he gave our bullpen, like, a big rest.
Yeah, for sure, which, we all know we really needed especially after last night. But, I went back, too, and looked, and he had a rough July. He was averaging, I think, 4.84 innings pitched per game in 5 games. He wasn't lasting very long for us, kind of burning up the bullpen. His longevity is better in August and looking good.
Looking good. One guy who's not looking so good right now, Luis Gil, headed to the IL. He came out of last night's game, in case you missed it, with back stiffness. Today, the Yankees placed him on the IL with a very minor lower back strain. No timetable for his return. I'd imagine it's just going to be, a few starts. They're going to kind of shut him down. But, John, I feel like this could be a blessing in disguise. Give him some rest because he's never thrown this many innings before.
No, he hasn't. And I think this is something like we all kind of feared. Like they're going to have to really keep their tabs on him. And I think, like, I don't know about you, but in the beginning of the season, I was kind of saying that by now they'd probably be like shutting him down anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a blessing in disguise and kind of get Schmidt and Cody Petit like back in and see what they can do. And then we'll see where we're at for postseason.
Yeah. Speaking of the postseason, I've been thinking about, whether or not he would be a nice fit for the bullpen when he comes back. So I wanted to kind of throw up my hypothetical postseason roster and just kind of get your thoughts on it and see if this makes sense to you. So I've got Dominguez coming back and prying the job away from Alex Verdugo in September. So he's my leadoff guy for the Yankees in the postseason. Let me just move this down a little bit. The white space is killing me. I've got, I know the Yankees will never do this, but I would start Peraza over Gleyber Torres at second base sheerly for defensive reasons because outs are so precious and he's had so many defensive issues this year. I think he'll hit a little bit. I can't see him hitting much worse than Gleyber Torres, and I got Oswaldo Cabrera as my first baseman. I know he hasn't played much over there, but Yankees haven't gotten much production. I'm not counting on Rizzo doing much when he comes back. Rice now is down to 182. Oswaldo, if you can play third base, you can probably pick it at first base, right? So, Any thoughts on my proposed lineup there?
I mean, I like this. The only thing I would question, what about putting Gleyber in and then like through 7 innings or even through 6 innings and then bringing Peraza in? Because I feel like the defensive errors for Gleyber like tend to happen at the end of the game, but like we could still use his bat.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, so I'm not opposed to that. I could be convinced of that. The most important outs are the ones at the end of the game, right? You could argue that all 27 outs are important, but those high leverage where it's like 1 run difference, I want a sure-handed second baseman, so I could live with that. So it's just for the people who are listening and don't have the benefits of what's on screen. I've got Dominguez in center, Soto in right, Judge in left, Wells at catcher batting fourth. They'll probably switch that up if they face a lefty. Stanton at DH, Chisholm at third base. He'll be back by then. Volpe at short, Cabrera at first, and Peraza at second. That way it's switch, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, switch, righty. So it's a nice balance. You can't bring in a lefty to face like 3 guys. On the bench, I've got Verdugo off the roster. So Grisham is my backup outfielder. I was talking about that with Aiden last night. And then I got Torres on the bench. Like you said, I could be talked into him playing the first 7 innings. Rice, because he gives you that third catcher and because he's a left-handed bat off the bench, like might run into one in the playoffs if you need. Like let's say you've got a pinch hit for Stanton against a tough sidearm righty or something like that. I could see Rice coming up and running into one, and then Trevino as the backup catcher. And then my playoff pitching staff is Cole, Rodon, Schmidt, and Stroman in the rotation. I've got Cortez going to the bullpen, and I've got Heel going to the bullpen. Cortez because he gives you length, so he can throw 3 or 4 innings. He can be funky. A lot of guys have trouble with lefties. He neutralizes lefties at Yankee Stadium. And Heel because of the swing and miss stuff. The control concerns me a little bit, but hopefully the back healing up will be better there. And then just lighter Cousins, Hamilton, Canely, Tonkin, Holmes, and Weaver. And I leave off Tim Hill, which is kind of difficult because he's a good lefty too. Any thoughts on my pitching lineup there?
Hey, I think you're missing Cody Petit here.
You should you think he makes the postseason roster?
I love that guy. I think he's so clutch, and I really feel like he could be like a good multi-innings reliever in place of, I don't know, maybe like Cousins or something, because it's righty for righty.
Cousins been pitching pretty good. I mean, maybe Tonkin. I don't know. This is one of those ones that I'm glad that I don't have to make the decision because Cody Poteet did throw the ball really well if he's healthy. And Nick Birdie, another guy who, if healthy, could be huge. But the odds that everybody's going to be healthy are not great. Like I feel like with 6 weeks left of baseball, somebody's going to have a strained something, right?
Very true. Yeah. Hey, question. What are your thoughts on Heel if he comes back strong and healthy at the closing role?
So I'd much rather have him high leverage middle relief just because he's never closed and because as a closer you don't want to walk people and he's such a young kid that's had some control issues. Like you could see if he walks a couple of guys, it's spiraling out of control. So while I like the stuff and the swing and miss stuff is huge, I think he would be lights out in like the 7th inning. Like, I don't know if you remember 2009 with Phil Hughes when he would come in the middle innings. He wasn't necessarily a closer. They had, Rivera and they had Robertson setting up, but Hughes could come in the 7th and he was incredibly nasty. So
I like that. I think that's a good answer. Cause he is a little bit of a head case.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go to a quick word from our sponsor tonight, which is Vuori, and a quick word from Alana Rizzo. Then we'll be back with the recap and the post-game belt award.
Hey FT fam, it's Alana Rizzo. I can't stop talking about Vuori. Vuori is perfect if you are sick and tired of traditional old workout gear. I wear Vuori in all settings, not just in the gym, because honestly, it's comfier than whatever you're currently wearing. No joke. I'm wearing Vuori daily leggings right now. They're high-waisted with the drawstring and cupped ankles. They look good and they feel great. You're gonna love them. Vuori is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/foul. That's VUORI.com/foul. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to vuori.com/foul and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing.
All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
All right. I don't know if you own any Vuori stuff, but I've heard it's kind of awesome. I've heard it's kind of dope. I don't have any though, so I gotta get some.
No, I gotta get some.
I trust Alana. She doesn't F around. She knows what she's talking about. So all right, let's talk about the game tonight. Yankees wasted absolutely no time getting on the board. Juan Soto in the first inning with home run number 36. The one who knocks new career high for Soto. Dead center field, 427 feet. 8th home run in his last 9 games. Jonna, this Juan Soto guy is pretty solid. Have you given any thoughts to the bidding war? What if he goes to the Mets? Could you see that happening?
No, that's not a what if for me. Like, I have not given that an ounce of my time or thought this year because I'm just like, you are a little brother. He's not going to Queens. Like, no, it's just not a thing. Like, I don't know. You see him and he's like so in his element here. And even when like we've, had our obvious slumps, like he just looks so happy here to me. He's his best. Do you know who David Rifkin is?
I've heard his name. Yeah, he's one of those. Is he one of those Yankees writers or whatever?
No, so like he sits in like the club level seating like every game. Well,
okay, yeah.
But like he's at most of the games, and he tweeted out tonight. He was like, Juan Soto is his best version as a Yankee, and that's absolutely true. Like he just had a record high home run season just tonight.
His best self. Only thing I have to say is give the man the bag.
Pay that man his money.
3 perfect innings to open up the game for Nestor Cortes. Actually, no, he gave up a single. So 3 innings facing the minimum for Juan Soto. And then bottom 3, the captain, Aaron Judge, getting in on the act.
It's another home run for Judge. All right. Here comes the Judge.
2-run shot. Home run number 46 on the season, RBIs 115, 116. He had 2 home runs tonight, both to right field. I actually didn't get the highlight for the second one. I had some issues with my technology, but he's on pace for 60 home runs. Care to make a prediction? How many is he going to end up with?
I mean, I should go bigger than this, but I think 64. That's what.
Wow. That's going to be tough, man. So 57. So he'd have to get, 17 over the next 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm big.
That would be crazy. I know he had, I think, 14 or 15 in September of 2017. Here's why I think he's going to end up with short of 60. Because they're going to be playing the Orioles in that last week. They got a big series against the Orioles. And I don't think they're going to pitch to him at all. Because they're not going to let Aaron Judge beat them with the division on the line, right? So I think he's going to be getting the Bonds treatment. I think 58, 59 home runs, which, by the way, still pretty solid. Considering Giancarlo won the MVP with 59 and people are still talking about that. This is going to be Judge's third 50 home run season. It's going to be the second time that he's approached 60 or been in the neighborhood of 60. And remember when people were saying in April that he was done? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah. Bottom 4, you don't often hear this phrase out of my mouth. Great hustle by Gleyber Torres to beat out an infield single to set things up for Juan Soto with the bases loaded. He had one of those typical hardcore Juan Soto at bats where it was a battle back and forth, ended up check swinging and hitting a bases clearing double down the left field line. And David Cohn always says when there's a check swing, he says, if he made contact, he would have had a double. But you never really see that happen. Well, there it was tonight. I've always wanted to see that. There was the check swing double.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that.
Nestor was done after 7 brilliant innings. We talked about him, but serious consideration for the belt tonight. Just a very clutch performance, saving the bullpen a little bit. Bottom 7, Judge went deep again. Home run number 47 on the season. And the Yankees hang on to win a nail-biter. 8-1. All right, back in first place. All right, so something that we do on this channel, I'm sure you watch every night, but we give away the player of the game. It's the belt for the player who most impacted the Yankees' victory. And sometimes it's just somebody with a key play or whatever. And as is customary, I always let the guest announce the belt winner. So who we got tonight?
Oh, gosh. This could have gone to 3 different guys, but we went with Juan Soto.
Juan Soto, who leads the team in belts. That's number 15 on the season. I mean, I don't know how you don't re-sign this guy, Jonna. I don't know how you do it. And
you got to get it done. They should be freaking getting it done tonight. Like, what are you doing with your time?
Here's the issue: is that if you do re-sign him, the payroll's given the guys they already have under contract, the payroll's going to be at $270 million. You really can't add anything else, and there's going to be guys who fall off. You're going to have to eat some contracts at some point. I imagine at some point they're going to have to DFA DJ LeMahieu. They're going to be paying for him just like they're paying for Donaldson, just like they're paying for Aaron Hicks, guys who are not playing. And so it's a lot of money to tie up. I mean, one thing that could make this happen is deferrals, because you could give him enough to where he has the highest average annual value salary in the major leagues, but still give him a lot more by, giving him some deferrals further on that maybe don't impact your payroll. So maybe you give him a 20-year contract, right? Or you pay the contract out over 20 years. It's really like a 10-year contract or a 12-year contract, but you tack on 8 years of deferrals at $10 million per year, and that ups the total value of the contract. I think he wants to beat the highest average annual value for anyone not named Shohei Ohtani,
Yeah.
Boris loves to do that.
Well, and I mean, speaking of Ohtani, maybe that was a huge blessing in disguise for us, because we can learn from that and look at that contract and be like, hey, that's how we're going to treat Soto.
Yeah. Boris, he's just one of those guys that, he didn't have a great offseason this year. A lot of guys ended up holding out. Blake Snell missed, first month of the season, basically. Jordan Montgomery was trashed for the first couple of months because of missing, missing spring training or whatever. So he likes to. Yeah. He likes to take his guys until like February to get the best deal. But I don't know that there's going to be enough teams bidding on him. Like, how many teams are going to be able to like not commit to a $600 million contract or whatever, until February, right? You got to get your team settled. So I think this could happen fairly quickly. I think you could see right around the winter meetings time, either the Yankees or the Mets. I could see Cohen offering him the most money, but like you said, he seems at home as a Yankee. Like, he finally seems like he's found his place.
Yeah. And I also don't think as a player, like, your stage gets any bigger or better than this. I really don't.
And look, the Yankees are in it every year. I mean, last year was the first time that they flirted with an under 500 record in 30 some odd years, right? And they've still got that streak going, which I know is very important to them. It's something that they're very proud of. And these days, you could win 85 games and get into the playoffs. We saw it last year with the Diamondbacks. They won 84 games and made it to the World Series. And the Yankees are always going to be competitive just because of the market they play in, the money they have. Free agents, they want to come to New York. They got the best of everything there. And look, I just don't see any way that the Yankees don't offer this guy $500-600 million. The question is, will the Mets offer him more, and will Juan Soto just take the highest dollar amount? That's the final remaining question. Any final thoughts on tonight's good old-fashioned passionate ass whooping that we handed out here?
Oh my God, that the Guardians really handed us a gift there, bringing up that minor leaguer. That was like the best gift for us. We needed that. Yeah. So
but
no, that was good.
I remember many times when teams have called up a left-handed minor leaguer who has shut us down. It's just one of those things that goes with. Yeah.
I was like, we're going to make this guy look like a Cy Young. Like, that's kind of, that's just how we go into these games anymore. But Soto, just taking the reins again, just like he has in the last few games. So.
All right, well, let's wrap up here with a few comments. So we've got Retro Tony says 15 years, $625 million. That would be wild. Let me do the math on that. So 625 divided by 15. I'm not good at math in my head. That's 41.6 per year. I don't think that's enough to get it done. I really don't. I think it's going to be more like, I think it's going to be closer to 50. I think he wants to crack that 50 number. Let's say 50 times 12. What's that? That's 600. 12 years, 600. I could see that happening. We'll see. John, appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to call into the voicemail 718-899-1068 and follow Jonna on Instagram, on Twitter, on all that stuff. What are your socials? I forgot to put them on the screen there.
Yeah, so on social you can follow me at babespod, and then on Instagram, sorry. On Twitter you can follow me at 90s Yanks Kid.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you when we see you. Yankees back in first place.
Ball game over.
If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and give us a subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. We're also on all your favorite podcast platforms and social media. Join the community, have some fun. We're here after every game. This is Pinstripe Territory.